Hi there, you're welcome to the Silas Downsy review channel on YouTube. Here I talk about songs, music videos, artists, and everything music. In today's video, I'm going to review a song that would be termed one of the major highlights of social media and gospel music in 2022, and that is Kumama by Lokwa featuring Moses Bliss and Prinx Emmanuel. In this video, I'm going to explain why the TikTok video went viral. I'm also going to give my opinion or thoughts about the studio recording and the music video as well. So I promise you, if you stick with me till the end of the video, you're going to find it really meaningful and informative. So let's get right into it. So someone might ask, why would the musical video or musical clip of an artist, a relatively unknown one, singing with a bunch of his friends gained so much attention in Nigeria and in other countries on social media and whatnot? Well, to answer that, I would say there is a reason or a couple of reasons working together or that have worked together to have made that possible. But the very first thing is the history. You see, the song Kumama is not entirely new. For those who grew up in the 90s or those who were old enough in the early 2000s, they would know that Kumama is not a new song. In fact, for me, 2 years ago, I was invited to teach some Indian kids via Zoom African songs, and Kumama was one of the songs that I taught them. It is not entirely new, like I said. So what happened is when people saw the song, there was that feeling of nostalgia. People were reminiscing those years when we used to sing that song in fellowships, in churches, and in other places like that. So that is one reason. And I must say that this is exactly the same thing that happens with Nathaniel Bassey's song, Olori Agbaye, which was originally composed by evangelist Bola Are. I mean, the song was released many years ago, but when he brought that song back just last year or so, people could resonate with it, and it was bringing back good memories, that feeling, there was that emotional connection. And I say the same thing about Peter Sidokopi's song, Oshuba. Oshubarere is not a new song at all by any stretch of the imagination. It is very old. Like I said earlier, those who grew up in the 80s, 90s know this song very well. So singing it in a different way with passion and some creativity would definitely ring a bell in people's hearts. So that is the first part of why the video went viral. Very much connected to the history is the acceptance of Congolese music in Nigeria and in other West African or even the entire continent. And I say this because the hearts, or let me say the ears and hearts of people were primed for the Kumama video. In the late 90s, the early 2000s, we were all jamming to Congolese music, their style of singing, the Sebene sound, and what have you. In fact, when you go to birthday parties, on radio, we were just listening to Congolese music, even when we did not understand a single word that they were said, or we just understood a little bit of French, Jobapel. In fact, the comedian Julius Agu made a parody of some of those songs back then, and that too was very popular. As I'm saying it, some of you are even remembering or recalling some of those memories. So the hearts, like I said, the ears and the hearts of people were primed to receive this Kumama song. We always love the Congolese, especially how they sound, how they sing. We are familiar with Awilo Gomba, Fali Pupa, Ufiolo Mide. People have been listening to these guys for years. And even for of recent, people like Dena Mwena. Sorry if I didn't get the pronunciation right. So the ears, like I said, and the hearts were already primed for the song. That is the second reason why the song or the video on TikTok went viral. Next is the video itself. If you saw the video, or if you haven't, you can see it again. The attitude of the guys, you could see fellowship, you could see a great attitude amongst those guys in the video. They were joyful about it. They weren't too serious, neither were they playful about it, but there was just that right positioning, so to speak. So I believe that, with other things that I've mentioned, were the reasons why the video went viral. Everyone wants a good time, something relaxing, and that video gives exactly that feeling. So those are the reasons why I feel the video went viral. If you have other thoughts, kindly drop them in the comments below. So now I'm going to go into my review of the studio recording, and of course I will move on to the video one as well. But before I talk about the music video, I should say this. When trying to make a song or a video and what have you, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, choices even by the artists involved, the music producers, and all sorts of things. And I'm going to talk about some of these things. And in some way, I might sound a bit critical. My goal is not to attack the persons involved. If you find some of my speech, which I believe wouldn't be harsh, but I assume or presume that some might find it that way. Please, I'm not attacking these guys. That's not my desire. That's not my goal. I'm just driving for excellence. I want us to have excellence in the gospel music industry. So let's get into the review of the song, the studio recording of it. Speaking about the studio recording or the studio version of the song, the first thing I will comment about is the choice of producer. They went with Hills Play. Good choice, I believe. Hills Play is a good producer, very good at his craft. He is the one who produced Energy by GreatMan Takit. Energy is a song that we see the Inter Milan players vibing to in their locker room after winning the last Italian FA Cup. Great choice. However, I have an issue with his interpretation or the direction of he took with the song. He gave the song an Afrocentric, or let me put it in my own words, an Afro-cinematic theme, an Afro-cinematic vibe. And what happens is that the Congoleseness, if that's a word, which I don't think it is anyway, the Congolese essence of the song, of the original song, or the original video, is lost. And I believe this is a big miss. Now, it would have been different if this was a regular song, that is, an artist walks into the studio, speaks with the producer and says, okay, I want to sing this song, I want to record this song. But this is different. There's a context to the Kumama song. And when you make such a switch, I think that just isn't the best of ideas. One can actually compare that to the Prinx Emmanuel's version or refix of the TikTok video. He incorporated Nigerian sound, but it kept that Congolese essence. In fact, with the vocals, you would know that this is the Congolese style of singing, which I was looking out for in the studio recording, but it was lost. Rather, I went with just the typical backup vocals. That's a disservice to the song, honestly. I think better could have been done by preserving the vocals. In fact, I opine that male singers who could produce that Congolese style of singing would have made the song better than it is. That is just my thought. Apart from that, I think the song was well produced, beautiful, enjoyable, I would say. Prinx Emmanuel, I think with his vocals, it could have been better compared to the version he did, the refix. His vocals in the studio recording, it was just okay. And I feel it tried reaching some high notes, which did not go as smooth as it should. It could have been taken again. That's just my opinion. As for Moses Bliss, what we have in the song is the classic Moses Bliss. You could hardly ask for anything better. He just did his job. It was just good. And that's that about Moses Bliss. So the song is okay, it's good. And now let's get into the review of the video proper. Prior to making this video, I had posted online that I thought the video is mediocre. And I'm very sure that that must have gotten some people dissatisfied or very unhappy, and maybe for good reason. But I think it would be unjust of me to say that without having good reason. And I'm going to give my general take on the video and also the reasons why I think it was just average. So let's get right into it. Like I said earlier, when videos like this, music videos are to be made, there are lots of choices to be made, so many of them. And one of such is interpretation. And I feel that the choices of the video producer is affected, or let me say limited, by the music itself. Now, I said that the producer, that is Hill's Play, chose to go with an Afrocentric, Afro cinematic kind of sound. And we see that interpreted as such by the video director. So the idea was to give a very stereotypical African setting, something that has to do with wildlife, animals, trees, and what have you. But was it well done? Was it well executed? I don't think so. And in fact, my expectation was that there's going to be a lot of the Congolese culture captured in the video. But we see some of that, but not enough, I think. Let me just talk about the video from a general standpoint. First of all, what I see, like I've said earlier, is Lokwa is set in an outdoorsy environment, is outdoors with some of the singers, and then we have Prinx Emmanuel indoors in our house, and we find almost the same thing with Moses Bliss. And of course, at the same time, Moses Bliss is also captured within a building with singers and what have you. So that is just what is done. But for me, I feel all of this is just uninspiring. I feel more or better could have been done with the context of the song. This is not a small song. This is not a regular song. A big song requires a big video. A lot of things have been left out already from the song, and I'm not surprised that such is the same with the video. What happened to the story of Lokwa? My goodness. The TikTok video, his connection with Moses Bliss, his trip to Nigeria. The guy spent 2 months. He toured around with Moses Bliss. He was in churches. He got platforms and all of that. How about the recording of the song itself? What happened? I mean, it leaves me asking such questions rather than just have a song or a video that is just like the average music video. It's just come up with a location. It's not telling any story. There is no compelling or inspiring storyline to the video, and I think that is just not good enough, to be honest. One reason why I classify or deem the video mediocre or average at best is the fact that it is reading with stock footage. This is 2022, for crying out loud. And if you're going to make music videos, I think it's best to avoid using stock footage. If at all you're going to use stock footage, then let it be yours or exclusive ones. One watches the video and could tell easily that, oh, this is stock footage here, stock footage there. No, it's not a good thing. In fact, it's, in a sense, bring down the value or the quality of work. Yeah, it is fine. You can use stock footage in documentaries, vlogs, adverts, and all of that. But when it comes to music videos, I think it's not good enough. And here's the thing. When you use a lot of stock footage, especially stock footage that you can just find elsewhere on the internet or in other videos and things like that, it questions the creativity of the production team. They might be creative, I'm not saying they are not. It also suggests that the production team might have worked on a very little or low budget. I'm not saying they didn't spend money on this video, but that is the impression that it gives. Like I said earlier, using of stock footage suggests limitation of resources like time. I don't know, maybe they were squeezed for time, perhaps. Places, sites to shoot the video, and maybe a limitation of people too. Maybe that's a problem. I'm not sure. But the point is that using stock footage so much in a video, music video, is not a good idea. It doesn't help with the value of the song. I was talking about the fact that there isn't a very great storyline within the song. Imagine this, 10 years from now, 15 years, 20 years out, when the younger generation will be watching this video, they are not going to have any connection back to the context of the song, back to the story of Lokwa and how all of this happened. Like I said earlier, I feel it's a big miss. They could have done better in that regard. At this point, let me talk about costume. If the assumption is that they are trying to display the Congolese culture, I think they didn't hit it. But actually, I feel that they were actually going for a more Afrocentric costume, so to speak. And if that's the case, I think it's good enough. But if we are looking or considering the Congolese way of dressing, culture, and all of that, I think they didn't achieve that. Wearing clothes or dresses that were majority white in certain places, and then in some other places black, with just the colored whatever it is that they were putting around their necks and all. I think that isn't good enough. In fact, at some point I could almost mistake those colorful pieces as kente dress from Ghana, but maybe that would be too far a call to make. So I'm not even going to comment much about that. But the idea is this: if they were to go for Congolese culture, then they would have gone for Adire dresses, colorful and bright Adire dresses. And if I thought they are not going for the traditional Congolese dresses, they could have gone for more formal wears. Those who are familiar with the sapeur culture or movement in Congo would know that. So these guys sometimes they dress looking sharp and pink. They suit up, they wear hats, maybe with walking sticks sometimes, and well decked in a sense. But that's not what happens in the video. Like I said, I feel because of the song itself, the sound, the production, which has an Afrocentric feel, I think they had wiggle room to go for more options in terms of clothing rather than a strict Congolese style. Now I would also talk about the dance. They introduced the Bantu dancers. In the Congo, you would find Bantu dance, but I think it wasn't a good fit. The dance steps did not really sync with the song or with the sound, and it just doesn't work together as one would have expected. That's just my honest take about the dance. And if I told you're going to have Bantu dance, where are the drums? The African percussion instruments, where are they? We just have people dancing, no drums. No, it doesn't work like that. Just for reference, if you look at the Olori video by Infinity as way back as 2007 or so, you'd realize that it was a different setting entirely. Of course, the song is or has the same Afro-cinematic or Afrocentric feel to it, but you could find the drums, you could find the dancers, and then the people paid respect, in quotes, to the Yoruba language. Of course, the sound is not Yoruba, but the costume that the dancers wore were traditional Yoruba attire, which should have been done in this video that I'm talking about, but that was to a large extent not necessarily the case. I would also talk about the visual effects, the transitions within the video. At some points, it was great, it was good, but in some other instances, it wasn't nearly as much. Sometimes trying to slow down the video or the movement did not work well with the tempo of the song. In the part of the video where Moses Bliss was outdoors in the African sunset setting, so to speak, the birds that were flying around, that effect was just unnecessary. It was a distraction. It would have been better not to have that at all within the video. I should also mention that at some point within the video, the energy level of Lokwa was just not great. It wasn't good enough. Maybe he was tired, maybe I really don't know, but we needed that energy. We needed to feel something. I didn't feel it that much in certain places. With the exception of Moses Bliss, you could see the passion that Moses Bliss was putting in his own portion of the video, which is, good. It seems he has a lot of experience with shooting videos and whatnot. So here is my overall assessment of the video. It started well, but not too long into it, it was just not making too much sense to me. Inspiring me on. In fact, at some point, like about 15 minutes into the 15 seconds rather, you find the Lokwa reclining against the coconut tree. What was that for? He's a guy. That's not a manly thing to do. If it were a lady, it would be understandable, but it's a guy. Come on. You could have done something different. Anyway, there were flashes of brilliance within the video. I would grant that. But overall, the video lacks that wow factor. I should be able to watch the whole video and said, oh, I've just seen something. And then have that desire to watch it over and over again. Like I said earlier, my goal of analyzing or critiquing the video is not to insult the people who made it or to harshly criticize them or something. That's not the point. But my desire is to urge excellence. And oftentimes it's not just about spending so much money on musical videos. You can work within the limited budget you have and still have something great. An example is this guy's video, that is Funbi, the Halleluyah video, which is in a sense kind of similar, of course not exactly similar, but you could see what they did as far back as 2016 or early 2017. Judging by the standards of that time, that's a good video, an exceptionally beautiful video. I'm providing a link to that video as well so that you can see it for yourself. So we can do better. I hope more comes out of that album. Maybe they are going to shoot more videos. I really don't know. Lokwa has gone back to his country. There are great opportunities left, but let's see what happens next. Anyway, if you have stayed till the end of the video, thank you so much for listening to my rant. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so that you get updated anytime I upload new videos. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram at Silas Downsey. So thank you very much. See you in the next video. Until then, always keep it 100. Peace.